Dinelle sat in her childhood home, staring blankly at the empty living room. The silence was suffocating, a sharp contrast to the laughter and chatter that used to fill the space. The loss of her family in a horrific car accident just a few weeks earlier left her in a state of disbelief. She felt alone, abandoned by the world, as if the ground beneath her feet had disappeared. Grief had consumed her entire being, and even though friends and distant relatives reached out, she felt their words couldn't touch the deep hollow ache inside her. One day, she decided she had to speak out, not for anyone else but for herself. She had always loved storytelling, and perhaps sharing her grief could help ease the burden. With shaky hands, she opened her laptop, signed into a social media platform she had long abandoned, and hit the record button. Hi, I'm Dineo, she began, her voice soft and raw with emotion. This is my story. I'm not sure why I'm doing this, but if I don't talk about it, I might drown in my own thoughts. The video was short, no more than 5 minutes, but it was real, unfiltered and raw. After she uploaded it, she didn't expect much. Her only goal was to vent, to release the overwhelming emotions that were choking her daily. However, by the next morning, Dinel's video had garnered thousands of views. Messages of support flooded her inbox from people who had experienced similar loss. Strangers across the world sent heartfelt condolences, offering words of encouragement and sharing their own stories of grief and healing. A sense of purpose slowly ignited within her. Maybe this wasn't just about her pain. Maybe she could create a space for others like her, a community where people could express their deepest fears and heartbreaks. She did not intend to become a voice for others, but now it seemed like fate was pushing her in that direction. Over the next few weeks, Dineo found herself uploading more content. She shared stories about her parents, their love for one another, their dreams for her, and the values they instilled in her. She spoke about her little brother Cabello, who was just 10 years old when he died. His mischievous smile and contagious laughter became recurring themes in her videos. Through these stories, she realized she was keeping her family's memory alive, and in turn, her audience grew exponentially. Dineo didn't sugarcoat her pain. She cried on camera, shared her struggles with sleepless nights, and how certain songs could break her down instantly. But as she opened up, others began to open up to her too. People commented on how her vulnerability gave them permission to confront their own grief. What started as a personal outlet was slowly evolving into something much larger than Dineo had ever imagined. One evening, as Dineo was editing her latest video, a message popped up in her inbox. It was from a man named Kegosi, a media producer from Gaborone. He had stumbled across her channel and was impressed by how authentic and relatable her content was. He wanted to meet and discuss the potential of expanding her platform, possibly turning it into something even bigger. At first, Dineo was hesitant. She wasn't sure if she was ready to make her private grief more public than it already was. But something about Kigosi's message intrigued her. He wasn't offering fame or fortune, but rather a way to expand her reach and touch more lives. After some back and forth messages, she agreed to meet with him over coffee. The next weekend, Dinelle found herself nervously walking into a trendy cafe in downtown Gaborone. Kegosi was already there, a tall man with a friendly face and an easygoing demeanor. As they sat down, Dinelle was struck by how genuinely interested he seemed in her story. He wasn't like the typical producers she had imagined, chasing viral content. Kegosi believed in using media to tell real human stories. He explained how he had been producing documentaries and short films on social issues in Botswana for years, and he believed that Dineo's story was something special. People are drawn to you because you are real, Kigosi said. They are not just watching a video, they are connecting with your experience, and that is rare in this industry. Dineo couldn't help but feel flattered. She had never seen herself as someone with influence, but Kigosi's words made her think differently. He suggested they collaborate on a mini documentary about her journey. From the day of the tragic accident to her growing online presence, his idea wasn't to exploit her grief, but to show how someone could turn immense pain into a tool for healing, not just for themselves, but for an entire community. I'm not asking you to change what you are doing, Kigosi reassured her. I just think your story deserves a bigger platform. Dineo felt a sense of excitement stir within her. She had started her channel to cope with loss, but now it felt like there was something more she could do. Maybe her story could help people beyond the borders of Botswana. After a moment of thought, she looked at Kigosi and nodded. Let's do it. Their collaboration began with a series of small interviews. Kigosi filmed Dineo in her most authentic moments, walking through her childhood home, visiting the gravesite of her family, and sitting on the porch where her mother used to read to her. Each scene was raw, filled with emotion and memories. Dineo wasn't just a content creator anymore. She was becoming a voice for those who felt unseen and unheard in their grief. The process was intense and draining, but also therapeutic. Kegosi's presence made it easier. He had a way of asking questions that didn't feel intrusive, but instead allowed Dineo to express herself more deeply. It wasn't long before Dineo began to notice something else. She was developing feelings for him. Dineo tried to push her feelings aside, reminding herself that Kegosi was just a colleague. But every time they met, there was an undeniable connection. They laughed easily together, shared personal stories, and supported each other through the long days of filming. One evening, after a particularly emotional shoot, Kegosi invited Dineo to dinner. It wasn't anything fancy, just a local restaurant that they both loved. But something about the simplicity of the evening made it feel like more than just a casual dinner. As they sat under the soft glow of the restaurant's lights, Kegosi asked her, do you ever feel like we are meant to meet certain people at exactly the right time in our lives? Dineo looked at him, her heart racing. She had been thinking the same thing but hadn't had the courage to say it. I do, she replied softly. From that moment, their relationship began to change. What started as a professional collaboration slowly blossomed into something more intimate. They spent more time together outside of work, exploring Gaborone, talking late into the night about their dreams and fears. Kigosi understood Dineo's pain in a way that no one else had. He never tried to fix her, but simply listened and supported her as she navigated her grief. Meanwhile, their documentary project was gaining momentum. Word spread about their collaboration, and soon media outlets were reaching out to Dineo for interviews. Her story was resonating with people all over Africa and even beyond. She was becoming a symbol of resilience, someone who had turned tragedy into triumph. The documentary premiered to widespread acclaim. People from all walks of life reached out to Dineo, thanking her for sharing her story. Her social media following skyrocketed, and opportunities for brand partnerships and speaking engagements began flooding in. Yet, through it all, Dineo remained grounded, always remembering the reason she started in the first place, to honor and family and to help others navigate their own grief. As her career flourished, so did her relationship with Kegosi. They were no longer just partners in work, they had become partners in life. Kegosi's unwavering support gave Dineo the courage to keep moving forward, even on the hardest days. Together, they built a life filled with love, purpose, and mutual respect. Thank you so much for watching my video. And please, if you haven't clicked on that subscribe button, please do so by clicking on the subscribe button. Also turn on the notification bell so that when I post more interesting stories, you'll be the first to get them. See you in my next video. Bye.